And it's not just the Houthis. Israel is also using questionable tactics, or rather weapons. New reports are out. They say Israel has dropped white phosphorus on civilians, not just in Gaza, but also at the northern border with Lebanon. And this happened in the month of October. Israel shelled the Lebanese border, the border towns in October. Apparently, they used this controversial munition, white phosphorus. Many locals have reported burns. At least 3 had to be hospitalized. So what exactly is this controversial substance, white phosphorus? Has Israel admitted to using it? And if so, where did they get it from? Simply put, white phosphorus is a chemical. It is a solid, wax-like substance. When exposed to oxygen, it starts burning. And we're talking about unbearable heat here, up to 800 degrees Celsius. That's high enough to melt metals. It can also cause vision impairment and respiratory issues. Despite that, white phosphorus is not banned on the battlefield. You can use it in some cases, like to mark targets or to conceal ground troops. But there's a clear red line. You cannot drop it on civilians. So the question is, did Israel cross that line? Well, they have in the past. Like in 2009, Israel was accused of dropping white phosphorus in Gaza. And this time, too, reports have emerged. In October, pictures showed a white substance being showered over Gaza. Experts said it was white phosphorus. Plus, rights groups have documented ground evidence. They have published testimonies of victims. All of them complain of severe burns. And what does Israel have to say about that? The Israeli Defense Forces have rejected these reports. They say all international laws are being followed. Listen to this.
Regarding the issue of phosphorus activated in Lebanon, we are operating in one clear way, legally and according to international law. This is how we operate. This is how we exert force, both in the north and in the south. And this is how we will continue to operate.
Of course, they denied it, but Israeli military did admit to one thing. They do have an arsenal of white phosphorus, which brings us to the last question. Where does Israel get it from? From the United States of America. They give Israel military aid worth billions of dollars, and white phosphorus is part of that aid. Reports say those same munitions were dropped on Lebanon, the ones that were given by the US. Again, this has not been confirmed by Israel, but American news outlets have photographed the Israeli shells, and they clearly show American markings. So the White House is now concerned.
We've seen the reports, certainly concerned about that. We'll be asking questions to try to learn a little bit more. And obviously, anytime that we provide items like white phosphorus to another military, it is with the full expectation that it'll be used in keeping with those legitimate purposes and in keeping with the law of armed conflict.
So the plan is to ask Israel. Well, good luck with that. But beyond the white phosphorus, there is a larger story here, that of differences between Israel and the US over military tactics, over civilian deaths, over post-war plans, and now maybe over white phosphorus too. In the last few days, top US officials have highlighted those differences, and on Monday, President Joe Biden joined in.
I've had my differences with some Israeli leadership. I've known Bibi for now 51 years. He has a picture on his desk of he and I when he was a young member of the Israeli service here, foreign service. And I was a 32-year-old senator. And I wrote on the top of it, Bibi, I love you, but I don't agree with the damn thing you have to say. It's about the same today. I love him. But look.
Really sums up US policy on Israel. They may have their disagreements, they may openly criticize each other, but when it counts, the US is always in Israel's corner. Like at the UN Security Council last week, after all this criticism, guess what Washington did? They vetoed the ceasefire call. The only question is, for how much longer? As for white phosphorus, the international community really needs to take stock. In recent years, many countries have used this weapon, like the US, Russia, Iraq, Argentina. Many Western countries still have white phosphorus in their arsenal, and there is no reason for it. Today, we have safer substitutes. Smoke bombs can be used to mark targets. They can also hide advancing soldiers. So there is no excuse, really, or need to hold these weapons, unless the idea is to terrorize people.